morning, and welcome to the Daycare Q&A Show. My name is Adrienne Bradley, and I'm your host for the Daycare Q&A Show. Thank you for joining me here this morning. I'm trying to see if I can see the comments. I always have a difficulty with this on Facebook, but I'm trying something that my friend told me to do, which was to have another screen open. So we'll see. I'm trying not to miss any comments, so bear with me. But yeah, so welcome. I think I already said that. But if you are joining me for the first time this morning, welcome. And if you are coming back, welcome back. But can you do me a favor? If you are watching me live, can you just send me some hearts and likes so I can test this out and make sure that I can see your comments coming in. And if you're catching this on replay, please just leave me a comment and say hi in the comments so that I can say hi to you. And yeah, do me a favor, another favor, if you are watching this on replay, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so that you are aware whenever we put up new episodes of the show and you don't miss a thing. And I would be really appreciative of that. So thank you. All right, so a few housekeeping notes. You are not going to hear my dogs behind me because I'm putting them outside for when I'm doing the show. Just because sometimes they make a lot of noise or they want my attention and I get distracted. So you won't hear them behind me. So there's that. Second, I always begin the show by saying that any opinions about the questions or issues that are addressed here on the show are my own, or they have been influenced by my own experience or an experience by somebody close to me or somebody that I know. But I know that not everything is a fit for everyone. And I want you to know that if it doesn't work for your business or it's not something that you find useful, feel free to take what is useful and leave the rest. This is your business. I always want you to remember that. And we're just here, I'm just here to address some common issues that providers bring up so that if you're ever in that situation or if you've been in that situation, to give you another perspective for how you might want to deal with it or think about it ahead of time so that maybe you don't have to deal with it. So yeah, so I just want you to know that. Take what works for you, leave the rest, okay? And third, I want to remind you, if you are joining me live and you have a question, please go ahead and leave that in the chat. Like I said, I'm going to be scrolling to make sure I don't miss any questions. And if you're watching this on replay, go ahead and leave whatever question you might have in the comments and just put question next to it so that I can see that it is a question. That would be super helpful as well. And we are having our giveaway, so I'll be talking about that a little bit later in the show, so stick around for that. And if you do have to leave early, I want you to know that I'm leaving a link to the giveaway item in the show notes or the comments already here in the chat. So you can go over, but you will need the promo code, so hang on. You're going to need the promo code that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Okay, so let's see what's going on in the childcare, the Thriving Childcare universe. First, I want to say that today's episode is sponsored by the Provider Planner and Organizer, our luxury planner. It's right behind me here. The Stripe Planner. And it's just for childcare owners. And we do still have, I think, 2 or 3 of the Stripe planners left, and they are at a steep discount because they were overrun. So you can still get those for like $20 off, I believe. And now is really a good time. I've been saying this for weeks, but I can't say it enough because before you know it, well, look, we're already in the middle of, it's beyond the middle of October. So November's just about here. If Halloween is right around the corner. That means November is almost here as well. And that means the holidays are about to begin. So get your planner now so you can use it during the holidays. You can get ahead of the new year and start planning out what you have planned for your business. You can make sure you put down all of those events that you have coming up, and your planner can help you stay on top of that. So there is a link in the chat in the comments here, and you can go over and check out the planner and grab one of the last few that are at a steep discount. So go and check that out. And the link is in the chat as well. All right, let's see what else. So, I have some exciting news. Listen, well, it's about the blog. Okay, so if you don't know, I am the author and the founder of the Thriving Childcare website. And on the website, we have a blog, and we address a lot of issues and business-related things that center around being a childcare owner. So please go over and check that out. That would be thrivingchildcare.com. But I know how busy you are. I know this because I'm the same. I've been in your shoes, and I know how busy you are. So I still want you to get this information. So what we're doing now is you're going to be able to actually click a link above the articles that are on the blog and listen to them in audio. So if the kids are down for a nap, or you have some extra time, you're fixing their meals or something, or maybe you're driving around doing errands, you can put on the audio version of the article and listen to it. And actually, I'm a slow reader. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm a really slow reader. So I like to do that when I'm in the car. I like to either put on a podcast or even a YouTube episode. And occasionally I will pull up an article and put on the function that's on the iPhone to read it to me. I just find it more efficient to do things that way. I know I'm multitasking, or I think I'm multitasking, but so that feature will be available in November, so look out for that. But I'm super excited about that. I just think that would be so helpful to so many of you that don't want to miss this information, but you don't really have time to sit down and read a whole article. So I'll remind you when that is available, though. Okay, let's see, a few more things. I'm getting ready for 2024, and I want to help you get ready too. So I want to help you with your business growth and the things that you have planned for your business in the new year. So I'm planning now to help you have an amazing new year. And I'm starting it off by asking you what it is you want to focus on in 2024. So I've created a survey. I talked about it, I think 2 weeks ago. And it's just a 3-minute survey. And I have some topics there, and you can just tell me if it's important to you, if it's something you would be interested in. And if you would just take the 3 minutes to do that for me, I would be so appreciative. But I will also give you a gift card. Okay? So 3 minutes of your time and you get a free gift card. Okay? The link to the survey is in the chat as well. So I've already put it there, so you can just click on that. Not right now, but after the show, and go over. And I promise you, it's really quick and fast. It's kind of a yes/no type of thing, and you can run through it pretty fast, and you will get a gift card on the other end. So, so this morning we're going to dive into some questions submitted by daycare owners. But before we do that, I just want to say that that's what we do here. We're trying to address, or I'm trying to address, things that you deal with, that we all deal with, or that we might deal with, or that we don't want to deal with. And so if we talk about it here, it kind of gets our minds in a space to think about things differently, and maybe, like I said earlier, get a different perspective, get a different mindset, should we ever have to be in that situation. Or if you're in that situation, maybe it gives you a different outlook on how you want to handle it for your own business, okay? But what I have been doing is going to the planner and looking at events that are happening this week or in the week that we're in. Let's see what today is, the 18th. Well, yesterday was National Pasta Day. I don't know if that helps you today, but you might want to not tell the kids it was yesterday and maybe fix that for lunch today. But also, of course, I'm sure I don't have to tell you that Halloween is less than 2 weeks away. So that's pretty much what's happening this week. I will go back and leave a link to get the free Halloween stickers. I don't like to give out candy to the kids. I'm just one of those people. I mean, I'm sure there's other things you can give them. I think I made them cookies. But I like to give out other things. And I have a set of stickers that are free for you. So if you want to use those as treats this year, I'll come back in after the show and leave a link where you can go over and get those in the shop. They're free. You just need to download them and print them off on your own sticky paper. And maybe you can have time to do that between now and Thanksgiving, and then you have your treats that you can give to the kids. All right, so let's get into the questions. Let's see. First of all, I have a question for you, okay? This is my question for you this week, all right? So put your answer in the chat, put your answer in the comment, but this is my question for you. The other day, someone asked me to sum up who I am in 5 words. In 5 words, they wanted me to explain who I was as a person. And I was like, I stumbled. I was kind of stumped, and I stumbled a bit over my response, but I found it was a value. I thought it was really interesting. I thought it was a really valuable personal and professional exercise. So here's my question to you today. So today, I'd like to invite you to describe your business in 5 words. In 5 words. So in the chat or in the comments, put in 5 words what your business does, what your business represents, okay? And the reason why, and you can do this later, you don't have to do it right now, but don't forget, because I think this is a really good exercise, because I think it will help us to recognize things about our own business. It would also help us in our marketing. But yeah, so please share in the comments or in the chat what your business is, what your business represents. Okay? All right. So that's my question for today. So we're starting off with that. All right. So let's get into some questions by providers here. And I'm going to take notes just in case I need to do something. Okay. All right. So this is not working with the comments over here, just because my laptop keeps dying, or not dying, but going to sleep. So, okay. Let's see. Hopefully I can see from there. All right. Okay. First question. Hey, Adrienne, I've chosen to be a daycare provider to have more flexibility for my family. When I need a day off due to illness or for my kids' appointments and school-related stuff, it's become a bit challenging. It's like when I mention I need a day off, there's this pressure about what to do because I need to work. I feel guilty when I have to tell my clients who are also parents that I need a day off. I don't even charge them for the days I take off. Today I'm not feeling well while taking care of the kids, but I'm pushing through. I really want to take a day off tomorrow to rest, but I'm not sure how to go about it or explain it to my clients. My kids haven't been to the dentist in a year, although I've managed to go myself. I also need to see my own doctor. I do take the kids to my son's local appointments, like the x-ray for his broken arm and when he gets his cast on or off. But it feels like they don't understand. I assume she's talking about the parents. They don't understand the importance of these last minute appointments. How do you explain these situations? How often do you take time off for appointments? I feel like I'm constantly putting my kids' needs or appointments on the back burner, which is the reason I took this job in the first place. Can you share some tips and advice on how to handle these situations Unfortunately, I cannot afford to take off on a Friday each month, as I'll end up losing all my clients, and I only have 3 to begin with. Okay. Well, there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, this is my opinion, okay? Again, remember we talked about that. This is my opinion. I'm going to take my glasses off. This is my opinion. It sounds like you started your childcare with just your needs in mind, okay? You know how they're always talking about what is your why, and why did you start this? Why did you want to start this? I mean, back in the day, I thought that was pretty airy-fairy. I thought, what does that even matter? What your why is? But it does matter. I've changed my position on that over the years, because you can draw on that why. And you can also see if it is aligned with, in this case, the people that you will be servicing. All right? So there's so much going on here. First of all, this provider thinks that the parents, her clients, are not being understanding, or they don't care that she needs to take care of these different things in her life, right? And she says, she's missed appointments. She's not able to make these different events because of her business, right? All right. Well, I'm going to get hard here for a second, all right? Because in this case, this provider wants her clients to understand her situation. But I want to flip it around and say, do you understand their situation? So you have these appointments, and I get it. We all, most of us have families, and we have these things that need to be handled. But think about your clients. So your child needs to go to the doctor, or you have something last minute that they couldn't even prepare for or get alternate care for. And what? So they don't go to work today? I mean, I actually had a client that became my client because of another provider that she was going to, and she would do this. It wasn't an appointment, it wasn't an emergency. She just would wake up and say, I don't feel like taking care of the kids today, and she would just have to figure it out. And I'm talking about my new client, and she literally got tired of it. She was like, I can't do this. If I call into my job one more time, I'm going to lose my job. And that's what I'm saying. Do you take into account your client's perspective? Not that they're not being understanding, not that they don't care, but this has a ripple effect on them, on their jobs. Most people cannot just take off from their jobs because they can't, because their childcare provider isn't available. And I'm not just talking about one time or something like that. Maybe that could be worked out, but multiple times. It sounds like this is really not in alignment with your schedule. I'm talking about the provider's schedule. So, I can tell you from being on both sides of it, I get it. And I don't want to tell you that parents won't be late, won't be unempathetic to even you taking holidays off, right? But see it from their perspective too, because I've also been that working parent, right? And I can't just leave early because there's traffic. Okay, if I'm that working parent, my boss is not going to understand, well, there's a lot of traffic, so I need to leave out of here about a half an hour early. Yeah, that ain't going to work. They're going to tell you to get another job. They're going to fire you. So I think we need to be understanding as well. Now, I also understand that we have, if you're a licensed provider, you probably have specific hours that you're open, that you're licensed to be opened. And parents showing up late, especially habitually late, could put your license in jeopardy. So for that situation, I wouldn't, if I could go back in time, I would not set a pickup time exactly at the time that I have to be closed. I think I would try and do it a half an hour before, maybe even an hour before, to allow for that time that they're going to be late, that it's raining and traffic is horrific and the commute is taking much, much longer on the parents' end, okay? Because it might just not be them being inconsiderate and not caring and showing up late. It might be, that the commute was horrible. There was an accident. There was, I don't know. There could be all kinds of things going on that make them late. And I've been in that situation, so I know that. I've also been in a situation where I've had parents just be completely inconsiderate and go home and fix dinner and then come pick up their kids late. And I do get that. But that required me, and I think I've talked about it in another episode, that required me to get to enforce my rules. And I talked about the 9-hour rule. Most providers know about the 9-hour rule, and where parents have this window of time to utilize the childcare. That's a personal decision for your business. I'll put a link to the article on that if you want to check out what that is. But let me get back to this, because I do have some suggestions for how to handle this. But the first thing I want to say is what I was just talking about. Go back and figure out what your why was. Now, she says in this question that this is why she took this job. First of all, this is not, in my opinion, a job. This is a business. This is your business. Okay? So maybe there's some mindset issues right there. You need to maybe look at that. But go back and figure out why you decided this profession. Why did you decide to open up a childcare business? All right. Now, if it is because you needed a flexible schedule for your family and the things that surround your family and the events that you need to take care of for your family, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but recognize it. Because if you're saying that your schedule is this, but you are enrolling clients and parents and families and their schedule is this, that's not an alignment. That's not going to work. It's going to cause a problem. This is what's happening. It's causing a problem. So it's not all doom and gloom, but go back and figure out what your schedule needs to. If you could pick the perfect schedule that would work for you, what would it look like? Right? Write that down. Explore that. All right? Really get clear on what that is. And then go back. And I've been saying this for the past few episodes, and I've got to get to it. I really just got to get to it because it's something I'm so interested in. Go back and see if you can create a business model that works for that schedule. And I know there's a lot of people out there, and I was one of you. I would be thinking, she's not going to have a business. She's not going to have any clients. Because if she just, isn't working the typical standard childcare hours, no one's going to come to her. No one's going to enroll. Well, I'm here to tell you that is not so. So, what I'm going to suggest is maybe you think about having a half-day program. I don't know where you're located. I don't know where your business is located or the demographics around your business. But maybe explore. And I know my friend and colleague Denitra Scott is always saying, get in the mommy groups, and I would say get into the local mommy groups. There's gold there, because that's right in your community. Find out what their needs are. Ask them. You don't have to be promoting your business in there. Just as a parent, show up and ask them what kind of childcare needs would be perfect for you. You know, or hang out in the group and see what they talk about as far as childcare. Put a poll up, you know, and then go back and think about changing up your business model. I said we're going into a new year. Maybe that's something you want to look at in 2024, because I'm here to tell you, and this is why I want to work on this. I want to really address this issue, is because I didn't realize when I started my business 20 plus years ago, or even for most of that time, that another business model that wasn't 6 to 6 or even 7 to 7 or 7 to 5, whatever, something outside of that was even possible. But it is. There's centers that even do that. They have half-day programs. Erica Chicozio was on here a few weeks back, and she was talking about having a boutique program. They call it boutique programs, where, you know, it's a half day, or maybe there's 2 half-day programs in the day, or I've seen other providers here in California. Actually, it's everywhere, right? Because Erica was talking about that too, with the universal pre-K on the horizon, and a lot of providers, a lot of smart providers, are just rolling with it, okay? And they're changing their business model to cater to the needs of the parents that will be taking advantage of the universal pre-K. So what that means is there'll be different hours, but one provider, I was so inspired by her, because she said she abandoned the whole infant toddler model and went toward the before and after school, because the parents, you have to understand, the universal pre-K is not a full day program, right? So most parents need care beyond the hours of the program, so they're still going to have an issue. And they're realizing that, and they're using that to their advantage. I'm talking about providers. They're using that information to their advantage, and they're getting prepared for that. And maybe that doesn't have to be your whole program, but maybe that can be some of your program. So what I'm saying is to look at maybe a different model that would work with your life, at least your life right now. And and the reason why I said that before about this not being a job and being a business, because it's your business. You can make those decisions. You can make those changes. Maybe you roll it out slow. Maybe you make an abrupt change. Maybe you start marketing for that change now, you know, but the model needs to be in alignment with what you can commit to. See, because we get parents to sign contracts, we get parents to say that they've read all of our policies and our handbook, and we want them to understand the commitment they're making, right? But we need to understand the commitment that we're making as well. And I'm not just talking about having quality care and having a license and being a good provider and a good childcare. I'm talking about the promises that we're making to our clients, and the promises that we're making have to do with the hours of care that we've agreed to. But that is in your control as well. If you can't manage that full day schedule, see if another model would work better, another business model would work better. Because it's not necessarily them being unreasonable, them not caring. They have to work. There's a reason why the child is in childcare. They have to go to school. Whatever the situation is, there's a reason. And if your schedule, your personal schedule is constantly coming up against their schedule, yeah, they are going to leave. And maybe that's why you just have 3 clients. because you don't even have the time to market and find your ideal client. But that's the reason why you want to know your why, so that you can determine who your ideal client is, and then from there take and create the business model that works for both of you. Okay? So I think there's a question. I'm going to put my glasses back on. I wanted you to see my face, but I can't see the questions. So I'm going to scroll up and see. Oh, okay. So Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Deborah Corley. I hope I said your last name right. First of all, it looked like the stream ended, so that's why I said I hope you can hear me. But it looks like it fixed itself or something. She says, "What is the 9-hour rule?" That's a great question. So I'm gonna put, like I said, I wrote an article about this a while back. I'll put a link to it. I'll come back and drop a link to it in the chat. But the 9-hour rule, just in a sentence, means that your clients have 9 hours to use the facilities, use your childcare. So a lot of us are open a lot longer than 9 hours, right? Like 10 or 11 hours, and some people 12 hours. Okay, 6 to 6 is 12 hours, right? But when my clients sign up, I tell them they have a 9-hour window. So we establish what time is drop off and what time is pickup, and that is within 9 hours. Okay. A lot of people use that model, and that kind of helps with parents being late, because what happens is if they're outside of that 9 hours, then they're late, right? That's not what we agreed to. That's not, and that agreement, I hope I'm not muddling this up, but that agreement is in the contract as well. Their drop off and pickup time is in my contract. Okay, so that's the 9-hour rule. If they can't and need to go beyond 9 hours, then that's something we discuss at the tour. That's something we discuss before enrolling, because I need to know who's coming and going as a provider. I need to know when they're coming and going, right? And before I instituted that, I didn't know. People would show up super early. I wasn't even dressed. Or they would show up at, the very last moment, and I didn't know who was leaving, who was coming. So I didn't know if my ratios were right. If everybody was going to stay until 6 o'clock, then I needed to make sure I had the adult-child ratio right. So using the 9-hour rule, and again, the article explained probably better than I just explained it, but it's just providing a window of time. And just in case that sounds outrageous to somebody, typically people work 8 hours. So having a 9-hour rule gives a half an hour on either end for the commute, or it allows them to figure out how they're going to handle pick up and drop off if, say, there's a 2-parent family, or there's an extended family member that will be helping out with that. So there's that. Hope that explained. And I gotta put my glasses on because I can't see the comments. But thank you for the question. Thank you for the question, Deborah. Okay. Hi, Denitra. Hi. I was just talking about you. Let's see. Okay, so I hope that I gave you this provider didn't leave her name. I hope I gave you some things to think about. One other thing I will just as a parent, maybe, and I don't know where you're at, so I don't know if this is possible. I don't know what your care providers, what their hours are, but maybe ask the dentist, ask your doctors if they happen to have later hours or hours on Saturday, because maybe you can schedule your appointments then. Now, that's not always going to be possible with everybody, but since you've been able to go to the dentist, I presume maybe that's a way you've handled it. But you never know. There might be one day out of the month that the dentist office is open late, so you might be able to use that and not have that worry of not getting your kids to the dentist in a year if you do something like that. Okay, So that was just something I thought of when I was reading the question, that maybe that might be another way to handle that as well. All right. Next question. Adrian, I'm kind of puzzled here. I'm nearly fully booked, but I'm still having a tough time with my finances. I've only just started, so I'm not really sure where I might be going wrong. Can you share any insights that could point me in the right direction for the future? Okay. Well, I would say, okay, so if I asked you, and raise your hand, if I asked you if all of your enrollment spots were filled, would you be in a good place financially? Raise your hand if you say yes, absolutely. If I could ever fill all of my spots, I would be golden. I would be good. Raise your hand. So everybody should be raising their hand. If you're not like this provider, then there's something going on with your pricing model, right? So this week I wrote an article on the blog, and I'll link to that as well, so you can go get caught up on that. And in the article, I talk about how what's the best way to screw up starting a childcare, okay? And there's a number of things, and in number 5 is looking at the wrong metrics. And the reason why that applies here is because for most people, just in our mind, without even thinking, we would think, well, when I'm full, I'm going to be good. Well, hopefully. But that only works out if you are charging what you need to be charging for tuition. Because otherwise, if you're charging a low rate just to get those clients in, that might not even cover costs. Okay? So you just being full in that incident is really not, it's not gonna help the situation. You need to look at what you need to bring in, right? So I can understand. I when we start our business, we're just thinking about starting the business, and this is going to be extra income or another income stream for the family, or maybe this is the sole income stream. But when we do that, we also need, and this is why writing out a plan is really important. And part of your plan needs to be, let me look at how much I need to bring in. Okay? Bottom line, break even, what is that number? Okay? Now, consider the fact that most of us are not fully booked all the time, at least not all the time, right? Some of us are, and if you are, kudos to you, and that's great. But most of us have those periods of time where we have vacancies, all right? Now, if you price your tuition so low that if you lose one client, you're going to be in a bad shape financially, that is a red flag to tell you to go back and look at your rates. Okay? Go back and look at those rates, look at your expenses, and figure out from there what your rates need to be. Now, the other piece to that is knowing what, of course, clients would be comfortable paying, right? So go to your CCR, do some homework, and figure out what other businesses similar to yours in your community are charging for those same services. Okay, the CCR usually will have a database with all of that you can access. Okay, but you can go into Google, you can go into Craigslist, you can go into whatever local advertising that childcare use in your community or in your area, and a lot of them will post their rates, so you can see what they're charging. So you want to look at that and then adjust your rates accordingly. Because if you're not charging enough, then your business is not sustainable. It will cause you stress on top of that, because you're not even covering costs. You're not even bringing in the income that you need to bring in. So I understand a lot of us feel like, well, I'm going to price myself low so that I can get full. Maybe run a special where there's a first month it is a low rate and then it goes up. But look at your numbers. And I'm not a numbers person, believe you me. I'm constantly saying things like, I was told no math would be involved. Because and that's coming from someone whose mother was a mathematician. I hate math. I hate it. But you're running a business, right? We established that from before. So running a business, you got to know the numbers. You got to, at the very least, know what's coming in and what's going out. And if the math ain't mathing, then you got to make some changes. Otherwise, it's not a business. It's not a what do you call it? It's not a viable business. It's not, and that's for any business on the planet, right? It'll go under because the math ain't mathing. So my advice is to list out your expenses. Take the time to do that, all right? And you might want to take the time to do that every year, because let's say you don't, I think she said she's new, so maybe you don't have an assistant, maybe you don't have certain expenses right now, and maybe in a year you do hire an assistant and you will have the expense of that payroll, right? So looking at it every year, and prices go up every year, look at inflation. So maybe make this an exercise that you look at a certain time every year. Put it in your calendar, put it in your planner, and every year sit down and write those out, right? You're going to need those for your taxes anyway, so you might as well get in the habit of doing this. Figure out the best time to do this. But look at your expenses and make sure that you do not need to, or whether you need to make an adjustment when it comes to your rates, okay? I would suggest you do that now, so that you know that the next time when you're going to raise your rates, you're going to know what you're going to raise them to, and you can plan ahead of time, right? Let's see. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so let's move on. All right. Oh, it's giveaway time. It's giveaway time. So this week I am giving you our new Mega Halloween sticker bundle. It's a sticker bundle of 200 stickers. They're printable, so you can just print them off on your own sticker paper, like I talked about the other stickers earlier. You can pick that up at the dollar store. So I'm going to leave you a link for that. But these would be perfect. I don't like to give out candy. Did I say that earlier? I don't like to give out candy to the kids. And no one ever comes to my door after hours. I don't know what it is about our street, but for years we would buy candy and no one came, and we would wind up having to eat the candy like we had to. But anyway, we did. But yeah, you can just download these stickers, and this will give you time to cut them out and everything, and maybe give those as treats. Those I like to give alternate types of treats during Easter, when we do the Easter egg hunt, and Halloween like now. So anyway, the link to the sticker bundle is in the comments, so you can just go to that link. I'm sorry, I'm getting these alerts coming in, and use the promo code FREE for me in all caps, FREE, the number 4 ME, all caps, FREE, number 4 ME. Okay, and you'll be able to download those stickers for free. And yeah, so the link is in the comments. Go and grab those. All right, we're going to move on to the last question for today. And it says, let's see, I've got a question on my mind. Is it absolutely essential for my childcare business to have a website? I've been running things for a while now without one. Plus, I'm concerned that if a client gets upset, they might leave a negative review on my website. But if I don't have a website, I wouldn't have to deal with that, right? Can you give me some insights on whether it's truly necessary or not? I mean, what are the pros and cons of having a website in this situation? Okay, I have heard this quite a bit, okay, from providers that are concerned about having a website. First of all, let me see. Well, okay, let me say, I'll probably be in and out here. I'll probably be a little bit scattered. But a website can be a 24/7 marketing tool for you, right? It's not an ongoing, well, it's an ongoing expense, but it's not like putting out ads. It's not making flyers or whatever. It is on all the time, right? We all know that we can go to Amazon at any point in time, day or night, and order something, right? The same thing is true about your website. When you have a childcare website, it is on all the time. It's there. It's marketing for you all the time. Excuse me one second. Okay, so it's a marketing tool. That's a pro. Secondly, your website can help you get those ideal clients we were talking about. So how does it do that? Well, you usually have your hours. You usually talk about your program on your website. It's going to give all the information about your program on your website. So if there was a client that needed care on Saturday and you're only open Monday through Friday, it says it right there. It's going to weed out, self-select the clients that would not be a good fit for your business. So it's helping you find your ideal client. I'm sorry, that's two. It's helping you find your ideal client at the same time. I've been talking too much, apparently. Hold on one second. Okay. So it is someplace where all of those testimonials from all those happy, satisfied clients of yours can live. So when you get notes at Christmas, or when somebody leaves you a testimonial, or you ask for a testimonial, you can put that right on your website. A lot of parents want to see what other parents think about your child care, right? You can put them there proudly, okay? So you can also put a contact form where they can send you a message that they want to set up a tour. You can have it linked to your calendar so that they can set up a tour time that you've already, indicated a good schedule for you is right from there. Something that I did years ago was to eliminate the need for me to print out all of my enrollment forms to give to new clients. They live on my website. So once we've determined that you're going to enroll, you can go straight to the website. I can send them the link and they can download all those forms. Okay? So there are so many benefits to having your own website that is not on Facebook. You're not on Instagram. They don't get to decide who gets to see your Facebook page. They don't get to decide they're going to shut you down for no reason. This is your real estate, and you can control it. So to the question about being concerned about somebody leaving negative feedback, you control that. That's your real estate. So let's say you did get an upset client, or maybe just an upset neighbor, who knows, that want to leave negative feedback on your website. Guess what? You have to approve it. You literally have to read it and hit approve or disapprove, and it disappears. Now, if you think that sounds inauthentic, by not allowing people to just post things up, you are running a business. I have said this 3 times in this episode. You are running a business, okay? And people who have been in this game for a while will tell you, usually you're going to have a client here and there that has some issue with the tuition, or I don't know, usually it's tuition, okay? And I had that. I had someone leave a bad review. But she was upset because I had enforced something related to her tuition. And the thing about it was, she didn't put it on my website. She couldn't put it on my website because I would have to approve that. You know where she put it? She put it on Yelp. So for all those people out there in love with Yelp, you can't control Yelp. So she put her feedback on Yelp, and I had to deal with that. And I'll link an article that I wrote about this type of situation, because it wasn't just me. I had another colleague that had a situation where somebody left bad feedback for her on Yelp, and it wasn't even her business that they were talking about. They were in another state, but Yelp was not playing ball. They did not care, and they did not help her. I'm trying to think if she ever got it removed. But what I did in my situation was I replied to the feedback. And I left a reply that the parent really couldn't refute. So she wound up looking silly, okay? But what I'm saying is, if somebody wants to say something bad about your business, they've got lots of avenues to do that. They can go on your Facebook page. Although, if it's your Facebook page, you can remove that. Because again, most of the time, these are not, they're not fair feedback. They are reacting or retaliating because of something. So, for all of those providers out there, first of all, I have an article that is about to be published, and I'll tell you when that is, so you can go and read that. Talking about all the different myths surrounding having a childcare website, and why the pros outweigh the cons. So please look out for that, and I'll let you know when that is and when that's published. I think that is going to be published in the next day or so. But you control that, and it's more to your benefit to have a website. You can have all your contact information there. You can put up your story, why you started, pull on the heartstrings of prospective parents. You can market right there. You can run a special right there. You can schedule tours right there. There's unlimited amount of things that you can do on your website. But on other sites like Facebook or Instagram or Yelp or whatever, you are limited to what they allow. Okay? So, I would say, without a doubt, you can also put up your rates. You can change your rates. You can put your policies. You can put up a calendar of events so people see the different things that you're doing. Even if you're just doing them in-house. You know, maybe you're having a Halloween parade this year on Halloween. You can put that up in your calendar so they can see, oh my goodness, they do such fun things. If the parents allow, maybe you can put up some pictures of some of the kids doing activities or whatever. Or, you know, so without a doubt, I am a hard and fast proponent of having a childcare website. Without a doubt. Understand, you control it. You control it. Whereas other places, you do not. Okay? So hopefully that, I'll keep saying it too. I'll keep saying it because I absolutely believe in that. Okay. So let's see. Denitra said max blocks of time, 9-hour rule. Exactly. I know I wasn't explaining it very well, but I will leave the link to the article that talks about it, in case Deborah, you want a better explanation than I could get out today. All right. So that is it for the questions this week. And remember, if you have a question, you can always submit it early. And so if you can't make the show, I can still address it on the show. Just go to thrivingchildcare.com what's your question. That's thrivingchildcare.com what's your question. And you can leave your question there for next week's show. Okay. I am Adrienne Bradley. Thank you so much for joining me here for the Daycare Q&A Show today. And I can't wait to continue this journey with you next week. But until then, keep thriving. Okay? Talk to you next week.